Namaskar. Welcome to the seventh episode of the Ultimate Meditation Podcast. In this episode, let's talk about living a perfectly spiritual life while fulfilling our daily responsibilities towards ourselves and society, thus shaping this world into a better habitable place for one and all. And at the same time, utilizing this rare opportunity of a human form birth for closing the cycle of births and deaths. So, without any further delay, let's dive head on into this topic in detail in this episode. I recommend switching the subtitles on for a better experience and clear understanding. The structure and content of this podcast is kept as simple, meaningful, and relatable as possible. You may pause and replay any part of this podcast as you will. In the previous episodes on this podcast, I have spoken at length about meditation, self-enquiry, following the purpose of life, self-love, healing traumas and anxiety, and choosing spirituality over religion. But in this episode, I would like to take you a level deeper. I would like you to piece together everything I have said before and put that into real actions right in the middle of your daily life. Spirituality is not a leisure activity or something that you pursue only when you are suffering. It is essentially a way of living. Meaning, without sacrificing any of your worldly duties towards self, family, and society, you can live a perfectly spiritual life. How, you ask? By keeping your attention into your soul always, even while doing any work which does not require 100% of your mind attention. Stay in soul attention, Atma Dhyan. Feel your inner self even when engaged in everyday activities, especially when engaged in relationships or when you are interacting with nature. Feel the stillness, silence deep inside your body. In this manner, it is quite possible to be aware of the superconsciousness or the unmanifested throughout your day and even life. Your life will become much more peaceful at all times, no matter what happens in the outside world. It is the state of connectedness with the source that we call enlightenment. The unmanifested is never separate from the manifested, that is, all life forms and the elements of the nature. It pervades within every form, both living and non-living in this world. Humanity on the physical realm ought not to neglect the important matters relating to this realm. We need to make sincere and deliberate efforts into making our life in this physical realm healthier, happier, and more beautiful. Meaning, using the mind intellect to engineer better ways of living, traveling, healing and treating the mind and body, growing and harvesting food, waste management, water management, restoring Mother Nature, including rivers, oceans, forests, etc., for all living beings, all animals included, in sustainable and non-invasive ways. This way, the quality of life will improve a lot, and equality amidst the people can be established easily. And most importantly, balance and harmony amidst people and with nature can be established too. It can become an ideal ecosystem where men, animals, and nature coexist peacefully. In order to develop into spiritual beings, we need not make parade of religion, but live good lives. With regular and sincere meditation practice, while actively engaging in work and homely life, one can live a perfectly spiritual life, thus ruling out the absolute necessity of running away to secluded caves and forests. One can achieve the highest form of enlightenment while carrying out with his or her worldly avocations. Such a perspective of leading a spiritual life opens doors to the people living worldwide. Instead of limiting it to a smaller subset of solitary monks, yogis, and sages who have renounced their worldly responsibilities and needs, or limiting it to a specific geographical location such as India, Nepal, and Tibet. Whether you are rich or poor, healthy or ill, you have a family or you are alone, educated or illiterate, you can still lead a good spiritual life regardless of your circumstances. Having access to spiritual living worldwide can bring about a huge human revolution in the world. Monks and sages will be found everywhere because living an ascetic life will not be defined by your ochre attire but by your heart, your soul. There will be no more purposeless wandering here and there or indulgence into toxic pleasures such as drugs, alcohol, and unethical sex. Nor will there be human abuse such as human trafficking, wars, etc. by one human of another for power, money, or sex. This is like modern and scientific learnings of the West meeting the wisdom of the East. The best of both the worlds. Additionally, you will become real-time and accessible role models for your children. Thus, imagine how much accelerated positive impact we can make on the future of humanity starting from now. Through inspiring actions and getting their own hands dirty, spiritual leaders of the world can lead by example. The true meaning of life and its purpose of attaining spiritual perfection. That is closing the cycle of births and deaths without depending on others for food and shelter. I recommend checking out the 3rd episode of my podcast to understand the purpose of life in detail. Let these spiritual masters jump into the fields like civil governing, medicine, goods manufacturing, architecture, banking, teaching professions, art and culture, judiciary, culinary, housing development, etc., so that these fields are driven by love for all over money. Please note that this vision that I'm sharing with you all is neither impossible nor utopian. It is very much possible in practice as I am personally pursuing it. Thus I can say with 100% confidence that is real and achievable. Given the required amount of discipline, determination, consistent efforts, and unshakable faith put into this direction. I trust you will try to give some thought to this idea and also apply it into your own lives to attain eternal peace and happiness. My best wishes to all of you. If you wish to seek further clarity on any part of this podcast, or should you have any other questions, please feel free to write to me in the comment box below. I will be happy to respond. You can also book a 10 minutes one-on-one free consultation with me. Booking longer session is also possible. The information about the form for booking consultation is given in the description box below. For a healthy real-time interaction, I run live Q&A sessions fortnightly on YouTube. The date and time for the same will be announced on my channel's post. I will see you next week with another episode. Till then, please take good care. Goodbye. Namaskar.